Hey guys, it's Kenzie. I am so excited for today's episode because I am sharing my best friend with you. So, Elle and I have worked together at our first corporate job, moved on to run a wedding venue together, and now she is crushing the game as the director of events over at the Ashling, which is Minnesota's newest wedding venue. So, I am very excited for all of the content today. Make sure you grab a notebook if you are touring wedding venues because we are talking all about the things that you should be looking for, the questions that you should be asking on tours, all of the behind the scenes stuff that we talk about over margaritas, but I am so excited to finally get in your hands. So this is going to be a good one. Hello and welcome to the Aisle Collective. I'm Kenzie.
And I'm Rachel. With over 350 weddings under our belts, we help you create a wedding filled with big moments, real connection, fabulous decor, and experience-focused celebration that will have guests reliving your event for months to come.
Each episode, you'll hear us share our favorite and not so favorite wedding day experiences from real-life weddings. We chat about trends in the industry and interview experts so that you have the best tools as you plan your once-in-a-lifetime occasion. Okay, so what I wanted to talk to you about today is I have a lot of couples asking me about different venues and what they should be looking for. And one of the hot topics that I get asked about is in-house catering. So you guys do all of your catering and bar?
Yes, in-house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what would you say to couples as they're like touring venues, just like a high level? What would you say as they're looking? What are the main benefits?
Okay, so yes, I think the biggest thing as far as having the catering and bar in-house is just, it's such a stress reliever. I always say you're killing three birds with one stone. You're walking into the venue and you already have a ton of decisions already made for you. If like, for example, I remember when you were planning your wedding, you were going back and forth between all these great caterers that you have worked with in the past, and they all had different benefits, pros and cons. And so you're weighing those options, weighing the pricing, you're inquiring, you're meeting with them, and you're going through all this back and forth planning, which when you have the catering done in-house for you, you don't have to worry about any of that. It's already set in stone for you. You just basically have to pick what you want to eat. So I think that is a big stress reliever as far as catering goes. And then the bar. So many venues now are doing the bar in-house, which I think is so smart. There is a great benefit to being able to purchase your own alcohol, but then again, you're the one purchasing that alcohol. You're the one making all the trips back and forth to Total Wine. You're the one making sure you have enough alcohol, maybe overbuying. It's great to just know that everything is here on site. You don't have to worry about bringing anything, returning any leftover alcohol. We're always going to have enough for you. And we have a great staff. We have bartenders that are going to make a great drink for you, make sure you're having a great time, also making sure things aren't getting out of control. You have a whole team of staff that's coming with it. And so it's just really, you're in great hands. It's such a stress reliever. And so I think that is the biggest selling point.
Yeah, well, 100%. And I think you and I have talked a bunch too about, when clients are coming on a tour, I think one of the biggest things that I've been telling my brides is make sure you go to that tour with not only your venue budget, but also your budget for catering and bar in mind. Because for sure, there can be some sticker shock if you show up and it's like, oh, whoa, that's double what I was thinking. But I'm like, actually, you're saving a ton of money by booking it all in one vendor, and it's all here. So I think that as long as you go into it with that mentality of like, I'm checking three birds here with one stone, not just looking for a venue, it's so much more than that.
Right. And I think that is something that we have kind of struggled with is that sticker shock. People are like, oh my gosh, you're asking me, like they see the number and they're thinking, oh my gosh, this is all just getting spent all at once. And it's like, no, we break things up and at the end of the day, it's going to be cheaper. Fact is, like everything that we provide as a caterer, we provide the linens, we provide the napkins, we provide the glassware, the silverware, the plateware, all of those things that you would have to either bring in or rent from another company. That's all taken care of for you already. So at the end of the day, it works out to be cheaper. It works out to save you a ton more time, and it's just all around so much more convenient. One less thing that you have to worry about ahead of time, and one less thing that you have to package up and worry about at the end of the night. So
I could not have just said that better myself. As the one who's generally in charge of finding you all of your rental items, packing them all up, making sure that they all get loaded into your parents' car at the end of the night, stuff like that. There are so many little things that you have to think about with a wedding. Why worry about the plates? Like, you don't want to think about your forks, finding a caterer that has all of that. And honestly, one that's like a third party that's coming in is pretty hard to find. Like, generally they show up and bring the food and that's it. And so having in-house generally does, like you're saying, come with napkins, plates, silverware, all the things, and like water service. When I'm at a venue that the venue doesn't have in-house catering,
It's an upcharge.
it's always an upcharge to have water service for your guests. And I think that it's so important to have water on the table. This is me getting on a soapbox a little bit, but like when your guest, either gets their food plated to them or walks through a buffet and then comes back to their chair, oh shoot, now I have to go up and get my water from a water station or go to the bar, and that clogs up my bar line. If your water is already on the table, like I think that should just be a non-negotiable. Yeah, like it should just not be a thing. But unfortunately, it's something that, like, what bride wants to think about the water?
Exactly. And that's where the things come too of like, oh, when you start adding things up, like, oh, this caterer may have seemed cheaper, but at the end of the day, they're giving you the bottom barrel and you're having to add on, oh, now I got to add on the plates. Now I got to add on the linens. Now I got to add on this. And it adds up way quicker than just having, oh, that one initial sticker shock and everything's taken care of and we don't have to worry about anything. So it's kind of weighing those pros and cons. And then one more thing that I think is a huge benefit to having, especially the food in house, is the quality. Like, it's so, like, I would sleep so much better at night knowing that my food was getting made at the venue. It's coming out nice and hot. It's being fresh. It's not sitting in the back of someone's van all day, coming from Timbuktu, driving all over the place to get to my venue. It's getting made right here. And so it's going to come out way better. Like, I would say 90% of our couples have the best things to say about our food because it's so fresh and you can taste the quality. And so even if it is a more expensive plate, it's worth the money.
I mean, to simplify this down for some of our brides that may not know, so like the process for you is it's like out of the oven, onto the plate, and onto the table in front of your guest. Where if you're bringing in a third party, a lot of times that means it's being made in the morning, hours before it's served, loaded into like warming boxes, set in a van, and brought. And so I'm not saying that that can never be done well. Like, let's be real. We've seen plenty of weddings that it can be pulled off, but you're running a lot. There's just so many more touch points. There is so many more areas where that can go wrong. And keeping that warm is just a logistical challenge. And so and I will say, I've done weddings here at the Ashling, and you watch as as soon as that welcome speech is done, your small army of caterers is on the floor ready to go, and food is coming out really, really fast. So I think as a wedding planner, which also kind of comes with being a control freak about weddings, like the more you can control in-house, like you are one vendor as venue, catering, and bar, and not trying to mesh 3 different vendors together who may have never even worked together before. Like, that can be just a challenge, getting everybody like to work in tandem, which is, kind of my job as a wedding planner, but I will say it's a lot easier when it's one.
Right. And great point with that is that we're consistent because we're always working with the same people. Our chef does an incredible job. His food is always going to taste the same. We do food tastings for all of our couples. You know exactly what you are going to be served at your wedding. And so I think that consistency of just knowing exactly how everything is going to taste, how it's going to look, you can count on the quality. And I think that in itself is such a huge benefit of just knowing exactly who's cooking it, exactly how it's going to come out. And that way you and all of your guests you can ensure are going to be happy.
Yeah. It is just really, like I think you said a couple times in the beginning, like it's a stress reliever for sure. Like, and as a venue coordinator, as a coordinator, I walk in knowing that it's going to be good. I don't have to worry about if they're going to show up on time or whatever because they're here.
We've coordinated one too many weddings to know that, oh, the caterer is 2 hours late. What the heck is going to happen? So it's really just nice to know that everything is all here. There's no thing that you need to stress about on the day of. It's all taken care of.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk bar for a second. So, what are the different, like, okay, let's pretend I'm a bride. I know nothing about weddings. I don't know how this whole thing works. And I'm just seeing a price per person. Like, dumb this down for me. Like, help me understand. Like, but what if I have some non drinkers and I'm just paying per person? Like, all of those questions that you're consistently getting from guests, like, or from clients. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So just to give everybody else a little bit of a background, how we structure our beverage packages is a per person price. So we have 3 different tiers of packaging. We have the basic package, which is beers, wines, and seltzers, which is usually a hit for most people. And then our next tier includes like our house liquor. And then the final tier includes all of our premium liquor as well. So when you're paying per person, you are getting an unlimited amount of what's ever included in your package. And the key thing that I like to point out with this too is that you're getting a variety. Everybody has gone to a wedding where it's Miller Lite on tap, and like not everybody's going to drink that. Or I'm kind of a wine snob. I don't want to drink the specific wine that they had picked out for me. So it's great in those packages where you're getting the whole variety of everything that we have behind the bar. They have the choice and they can choose what they want to drink. And I think that's really important. And that's kind of where that higher price seems like it's a lot, but at the end of the day, a beer is $7. So $32 for an unlimited amount of drinks is going to go a long way. Most of your guests are obviously going to have more than 5 or 6 drinks throughout the night. So at the end of the day, it all kind of evens itself out. I do understand people not wanting to pay for people that are like pregnant, or, vendors aren't going to drink sometimes. Depends on the vendor, depends on the event. But again, at the end of the day, you have guests that are going to be drinking twice as much as what's allotted in that price. You have people that won't touch their drinks. So at the end of the day, it all just kind of evens out. And especially when it's an open bar, a lot of times they'll take 2 drinks of their vodka soda and leave it on a table and forget about it and have to go up and get another one. So at the end of the day, with the liquor that we're going throughout the night, it's a great deal for what you're getting.
Yeah, I would totally agree that is one point that I feel like I'm consistently explaining to clients is just kind of how that all works in the wedding world. And I do think, to kind of touch on a point you made earlier too, like when you're bringing in your own alcohol, that can seem really appealing when you're first touring. But then that month of your wedding, when you or your parents or whoever is like schlepping back and forth to Costco or Trader Joe's or wherever to try to get all of this alcohol, and then you're worried about how much and whatever. I mean, I was at a wedding last weekend that by the end of cocktail hour, we were out of wine. But they didn't really account for, like, in the fall, people need a little, like, something that warms you up a little bit, and red wine just feels so cozy that, I mean, they were out before cocktail hour was even complete. Then by 9:30, we were out of booze completely. So it can seem really appealing, but then the day of your wedding, you're like, "Shoot, I wish I had just." I think that so many people on all fronts, and this is me getting on a soapbox again, but, like, I think that so many people on the day of their wedding are like, "Shoot, I should have just, like, booked a good vendor and trusted."
And just made it easy.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, you want your wedding planning process to be stress-free. You don't want to have to worry about anything on the day of. I know for a fact we've worked weddings where I have had to personally go to the liquor store to get things because they're completely out of booze. And so it's great to know that, like, every guest count is different. You have groups that are going to go through 4 or 5 kegs in a night, and you have groups that are barely going to get through one. So at the end of the day, when you have everything in-house, we can accommodate no matter how much or how little you're drinking. And again, just pinpointing like the variety and the choice. Like when you're going to Costco or wherever, you're only getting the 2 White Claws that the bride wants to drink, not the High Noons that all of your guests want to drink. So at the end of the day, you have that great variety. Everything's done in-house. It's just, I can't reiterate enough how much easier it is going to be for you on the day of the month of all of that.
Well, I think one thing too is pivoting when you guys are already the bartenders. Like a lot of times people do an outdoor patio bar and then they come inside for the reception bar. You know what I mean? Like having multiple setups. Like again, it's your space. Like you very much have home field advantage knowing what you're up against. You can have everything preset. You like are ordering everything ahead of time. Like you have the control that this control freak for sure, just really, I think is so important. So yeah. Well, that's awesome. Okay. Anything else you want to leave us with? Like how can we find you? Like the Ashling?
Yes. So we're located just across the river. I'm sure most of the people listening are from the Twin Cities. So Hudson, Wisconsin is just across the space. Everything over here, I think we're in the perfect location. There's so much to do in downtown Hudson. There's so much to do in Stillwater. So if you are booking a wedding here, you can totally make a weekend out of it. Go out on the river, hit up some fun bars, do some hiking. We're in a great location to continue your festivities longer than just your wedding. But yeah, you can find us online. We have an Instagram page, the.ashling. And I know I'm going to get crap for this. Everybody gave me so much shit about naming it the Ashling. So Aisling. It's Scottish. I know it's spelled differently than you would think, but that's how you can find us.
It's so pretty though. I do love it.
But yeah, we're on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. Yeah, give us a follow.
Fabulous. Well, this was so helpful, Allie. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us, and we can't wait to have you back on the podcast soon. Thanks for hanging out with us. We would love to keep planning your big day with you, so make sure that you like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content.
Want to weigh in on today's topic or have any questions for us? All of our contact info, sponsors, and links from today's episode are in the show notes below. See you next time.